So, according to Steam hardware survey, the average amount of RAM in a system is 16 gigabytes. In this economy, 16 gigabytes? Really? That's better. Now you might be wondering, why would you do this to yourself, Brendan? Why would you ever want to put yourself through this unnecessary stress of having only 8 gigabytes of RAM? Well, listen, I'm what you would call a masochist. For the content, of course. What else would it be for, okay? Anyways, the actual reason I wanted to try this out, I guess, is because I did a video last year doing 4 gigabytes of RAM, and it's kind of like a tradition to do like low RAM amounts, I guess. I don't know. I basically just sit around all day and think of weird, stupid ideas for content, so you're gonna like it. You're gonna enjoy it. Also, my car is apparently my new recording studio booth place, so, That's cool. Anyways, though, yeah, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 2025. Let's do it. Totally not gonna regret this. Now, I understand 8 gigabytes in a desktop system is kind of taboo. It's like, why would you go for 8? 16 is like dirt cheap. Well, listen, a lot of devices we use in our daily lives probably have 8 or less gigabytes of RAM, believe it or not. In fact, if you're watching this on a phone, I guarantee your phone only has about 8 or less. So, you know what? If we can have phones that have 8 gigabytes of RAM and no one cares, we can have desktops that have 8 gigabytes of RAM.
Is that too ridiculous? Okay, let's just see how it goes.
Anyways, though, despite, you know, me being a tech nerd, my daily usage is actually pretty light. The most I'll do is just like open a few Chrome tabs and, you know, watch YouTube, and it's not really anything intensive. So I don't think 8 gigabytes of RAM will really be a huge issue here. Oh, okay. That's, I'm really happy that I'm using 87% of my freaking RAM right now. Well, I guess I spoke too soon. After only opening, like, a handful of Chrome tabs and a YouTube video, I was already basically maxing out my RAM, so yay. Despite that, though, everything was pretty snappy. Nothing was, it didn't really feel any slower, right? It's just a matter of feeling like I'm using all my RAM. Oh my god, everything is terrible. But really, the actual usage of the tabs was pretty snappy. Some stuff might have reloaded more often than usual. What do you expect? But really, general usage is not what I was actually worried about. What I'm actually worried about is video editing. Now, despite me recording this right now, I haven't actually tried the video editing yet, so I'll be right back. Alright, so with the project loaded up and I'm generating an optimized video for the video, I'm sitting at about 6.3 out of 7.9. Now, I know this isn't necessarily used RAM, it's probably more so allocated RAM, but we're not, we don't have much wiggle room here for the actual editing process, so I hope it doesn't die on me. Please don't die. Alright, now that we're done generating the optimized media, it's calmed down a little bit, but we still don't have much to work with. Let's hope nothing bad happens while I try to edit this video. Alright, so I got a little bit of my timeline out of the way, and honestly, I'm kind of impressed. The RAM amount hasn't really changed much. I don't know if DaVinci Resolve is pretty optimized for like low RAM amounts, but it's doing good so far. I haven't really noticed any hitching, any problems at all. Kind of a similar experience to when I was making that video on the iPad and I was using DaVinci Resolve on that. It was pretty good, so I don't know. I guess DaVinci Resolve is just pretty good for lower RAM amounts, so let's hope it stays like this forever. Alright, so it is the next day, and I've gotten quite a bit of editing done. In fact, up until this point into this video right now, it has been edited entirely on 8 gigabytes, and I believe the entire video will be entirely made with 8 gigabytes. 8 gigabytes. So that's pretty cool. Anyways, though, the entire editing process has been mostly pretty good. There are a few minor hitches here and there that I've noticed, like some slowdowns, but nothing that has made it unbearable, and nothing that isn't, you know, easily worked around. So overall, I'm actually very impressed with how 8 gigabytes is doing in terms of just general video editing, you know, whatever. And this is 4K footage, so it's not like I'm, you know, editing some stupid 720p video. This is full entire 4K, and yeah, I don't think it's been a major hindrance. That isn't to say, however, there hasn't been any other issues, you know, other than the editing things. Basically, while I was in the middle of editing, I had my good friend Zero hit me up like, hey, can you help me make a thumbnail? And I was like, oh yeah, sure, I don't mind. So I don't close the video editor. I don't close DaVinci Resolve. That's my first mistake, because I forget that I only have a very limited amount of RAM right now. So I don't close it. I go open up a bunch of Chrome tabs, go to, you know, get all the images and all the websites I use to edit the thumbnails. At first I get this, right? It's this stupid message telling me, oh snap, you ran out of RAM. I was like, oh okay. I'll just go ahead and close my video editing software. That'll fix it, right? Well, I go and click on it, and as soon as I do, both my monitors go entirely white, and there's no responsiveness And there's zero responsiveness from my system. Like my cursor is just locked in place in the middle, and both my screens are fully white. There's nothing going on, and I'm just like, what the hell? So what I do is I force restart my system, and my refresh rate's not at the max. I'm like, okay, did something happen to my GPU driver? And yes, it ended up being that my GPU driver somehow got corrupted from the limited amount of RAM. I don't know. I've never ran into this before. I have never experienced this before with a limited amount of RAM. I don't know how it's possible, but it happened, and I had to DDU and reinstall my drivers. So that was fun. No idea what caused it. No idea why it happened, but it did, and it's worth noting here, since this video is supposed to be on the hardships of it. So that is a hardship. That is something that went wrong. But after I went ahead and reinstalled my driver, everything just kind of works normally now. I don't know. I hope it's a one-time thing. I'm still not done editing my entire video yet. This is still in the middle of everything, but so far it's been very, very usable besides this one blunder. But I do believe the entire video will be made just using this 8 gigabytes of RAM, and I will let you know if it isn't. I will put a little note right now. Anyways, we are so far done 2 of 3 things I wanted to test using 8 gigabytes of RAM. Now, I will be honest with you guys, I haven't really been gaming much lately. Any sort of gaming I do is usually just for content. I've mostly just been doing other things like building computers, and that's where I find my enjoyment nowadays. But let's say you do want to game with 8 gigabytes of RAM. What can you get done? Alright, so we're gonna start out with some Resident Evil 4 Remake. You know how I am. I love this game. Also, if you hear any weird electrical interference throughout this is why. I'm very sorry, I can't prevent that, so deal with it, I guess. Anyways, let's go ahead and launch this game. Oh yes, this is the great noise of power. Oh, this is gonna be very loud. I'm so sorry. I can hear it. Okay, I decided to get my controller out and just play like that so you wouldn't have to deal with this freaking noise. I'm farther away from it now, okay? It should be okay. Anyways, this is Resident Evil 4 Remake at 1440p. I believe it's the prioritized graphics preset. Get off of me. With 8 gigabytes of RAM. And we are playing, kinda, I guess. We're doing good. We are getting a pretty decently high frame rate of like 160, 170. It just depends on what I'm doing. But it's doing good. You know what? I feel like I'm gaming. Yeah, I think it's doing good so far. I'm not really sure what I expected though, because I remember last year when I played this game with 4 gigabytes, it just refused to launch entirely. So I guess having double the RAM helps. So that's cool. This also isn't necessarily one of the harder games to run ever. I didn't really doubt that we'd be able to run it like that. So it's not a huge surprise, but it's still cool to see a technically AAA game still run good, run great with 8 gigabytes of RAM. So you know what? I'm proud of you. I'm very proud. Good job. Now I will say I had to close like every single program I had open in order to actually run this game. I tried to initially load into it with maybe like Discord open or something, and it just kept having a black screen and not loading. So I was like, okay, I see how it is. So I closed out everything, and it ended up loading up just fine. So yeah, if you want to play games with 8 gigabytes of RAM, then you're probably going to want to just kind of close everything. Nuke all your programs you have running in the background if you want to have any hope of possibly gaming with this. Like I said though, this is pretty optimized in terms of games, so I don't think that this is necessarily a huge surprise. So you know what? Let's go into the next game and see what it has to offer. Alright, I'm going to attempt to launch Silent Hill 2 Remake. Why is it on another monitor? God damn it. Well, maybe not. Maybe we won't be playing this game anyways because it won't launch. 1 second. Yeah, I don't think this game's going to launch with this RAM, unfortunately. So, sorry if you wanted to play this game with 8 gigabytes of RAM. I don't think it's looking like it's going to happen. Alright, I'm going to try and launch Hogwarts Legacy, and let's see if it actually opens. Oh, my other monitor again. God freaking damn it. Alright, we are in Hogwarts Legacy, and we are running, I guess, at decent settings. I don't really know the settings I'm using right now. I mean, it looks fine. And we are in. And it is a little stuttery. It's probably loading in shaders though. I did just have to DDU my drivers. Thank you, RAM. I appreciate that. Let's just let it do its thing and see what it does. Now, I'm not really in an open area right now. I'm kind of just inside. So it's a pretty easy task for the RAM, hopefully. And I do think it was just building shaders because now it's starting to maybe not. Oh. I don't know if those are shader compilation lags or if it's just the RAM dying. Or maybe a combination of both. Probably a combination of both. I'm running at like 140, 120. We are indoors again, so I don't know how much this affects things. Oh my god, it's starting to lag a little bit. Resident Evil 4 Remake didn't really have this much lag though, so it's a little more optimized, I guess. But, I mean, it's okay so far. It's kinda. I can imagine though that in the actual open world, it would probably become an issue trying to like actually play the game. Anyways, I'm blabbering on enough about this game. It's from what I see, it's okay. All right, let's see how The Last of Us Part 1 runs on 8 gigabytes of RAM. Oh, we're actually at a loading screen. Let's go. I do think it's compiling shaders right now, so might have to wait a little bit. And we are in the main menu. That's cool, I guess. It says shaders are currently compiling. Oh crap, I should have waited. It says out of memory. You probably can't even freaking read that. It has like a little stupid text box that popped up that says out of memory. So I guess that's pretty self-explanatory. I'm gonna try and load again though. My entire system is dark right now. Oh, let's do that thing again. No, why is the seizing out? No. Oh, we're back. Okay, that's a little odd. It's not letting me close the game. I don't want to play this game anymore. Please. Oh, I made it back to Steam. Okay, let's try that again. All right, this time I'm gonna kind of build the shaders. So I hope it actually does it, and then I'll be right back. Okay. It appears my system is not responding right now. I think the game entirely just killed it. Why is it doing this? Stop. Please. Yeah, I don't think this game is gonna run on 8 gigabytes, unfortunately. It keeps doing this bull crap. Well, that was exciting, I guess. Yeah, that was a great experience gaming with this RAM. I'm so happy. Alright, so in conclusion, how is using 8 gigabytes of RAM in 2025? Honestly, it was kind of better than I expected in terms of actual usability, and especially video editing. It was pretty good, pretty usable. This entire video was made using 8 gigabytes of RAM, so it's passable. However, when it comes to gaming, it's actually surprisingly bad, as you saw. This applies if you want to play AAA games. For like esports titles or, more indie games, 8 gigabytes is probably fine. But for AAA gaming, yeah, you're gonna have a hard time trying to play AAA games. Now, do keep in mind that I didn't change my Windows install at all. I used my usual Windows install with all my applications and all that. So it might be a little better on a fresh install, but this is supposed to be like a representation of just like my usage, and what I come to expect for a computer. And it was a little rough. Definitely had some weird issues here and there with it that I just can't explain. I don't know why it happened, but it did, so that's cool. But you know me, as long as I can play Resident Evil 4 Remake, I'm chilling, okay? But yeah, I think that 8 gigabytes is obviously being left behind for a reason. It's becoming increasingly less and less usable as time goes on. 16 gigabytes is very cheap. It's like $20 nowadays. Yeah, I guess don't use 8 gigabytes anymore unless you're a very light user. Maybe if you're like a grandma or something. Like, you could get 8 gigabytes for your grandma and it'd be fine. She'd be fine with it. Just like, be browsing YouTube, like. It did do better in video editing than I anticipated. I didn't really have to change anything about my habits. The only thing is that I had to close like basically every other application in order to efficiently and effectively edit my video. So that is something that is a limitation. And obviously if you had more than 8, like 16 gigabytes, you would be fine doing more stuff than just one thing at once. So anyways though, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's hard to enjoy my content, but you know what? I try, okay? Anyways though, I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching.